Corporate Renaissance Group webinar for Board Management Intelligence. Today's agenda will be covering the Board All-in-One Business Intelligence and Corporate Performance Management Toolkit. We'll discuss how this can help address fragmented decision-making within organizations. I'll give a high-level overview of the functionality of the Board platform. And then I'll take you through a high-level demo of the application where we'll look at some examples of financial management reporting, dashboarding and analytics, sales budgeting, cost center budgeting, project budgeting, and some strategic management. So Board is an all-in-one comprehensive business intelligence and corporate performance management toolkit that covers everything from budgeting, planning and forecasting, reporting and financial consolidation, dashboarding, analysis and simulation, and strategic management, and much more. In this toolkit, it provides a wide variety of functionality that ranges from self-service analysis, so it's designed to be a business user-driven tool. So users of this application can create their own layouts and reports and be able to make it interactive and share with other people. The type of objects that they're able to produce can revolve around key performance indicators, scorecards, dashboards. Board has predictive analytics functionality, so you can run statistical models on the data. You can apply planning and budgeting applications. So if you want to do a cost center or revenue type budgeting application, Board has full budgeting functionality. Board also has Microsoft Office integration, so it's integrated with Word, PowerPoint, and Excel. With regards to workflow, Board's fully configurable, so if you have a specific workflow that you want to set up for your organization as far as approvals and sign-offs go, Board has all of that functionality where you can make it highly reflective of your organization's current processes. Board also has alerting and broadcasting functionality, so it can also interact with your email client, so you can actually send out reports to an email list if required. Board also can run allocations, facilitate consolidation, and even run simulations. Board can connect to a wide variety of data sets, which I'll touch upon in a second, and Board can be accessed over the web. A client can install on your machine and through your mobile device. So today's world for most organizations can be very disconnected as far as the business intelligence and corporate performance management processes go. So if we talk about sales budgeting, there could be an individual with a spreadsheet or within finance that's preparing sales budget workbooks that are being sent out through the organization and all being consolidated manually, or it's pulling data from their ERP system. Someone could be doing financial reporting, again, in Excel, and to have workbooks all over the network or locally on their machines, and everything's done very manually and it's very error-prone. We could have some people that are doing dashboards within, say, Excel, and they're producing these and they're sitting on the network or on SharePoint, and again, they're manually extracting data from all these different data sources. With Board, it takes all of these disconnected processes and it pulls it together into one application. So Board can connect to your financial system, which is your ERP system, your customer relationship management system, your CRM, any legacy systems you might have. Board can connect to data warehouses, so if you have any operational databases, even flat files Board can connect to. And it can pull all this data into the application. You can apply a very structured data model over top of these data sets that then allow people to be able to produce business intelligence applications around scorecards, dashboards, reporting, performance management applications such as budgeting, planning and forecasting, strategic management, and a whole suite of analytics, whether it's supply chain operations, finance, sales, or HR. So Board International has been around since 1994. There's over 3,000 customers globally, and it's been very successful with 20% yearly growth in a row. So the 3,000 customers globally range in size and industry. So some very large multinational companies to some smaller and even not-for-profits that are able to leverage this application. And it speaks to the flexibility of the platform and the value it can provide to all sorts of different organizations. As I mentioned, Board can be accessed through a client install on your machine, over the web, Office add-in, or through your mobile device. From a budgeting perspective, Board has full modeling capabilities to do driver-based planning. It has the ability to reforecasting, so as actuals come into the system, you can reforecast to the remainder of the year. It can automate your management reporting process, so whether it's your income statement, balance sheet, cash flow, board can fully automate this and provide stunning reports. You can automate even charts and KPIs, all sorts of visual objects using the board drag and drop toolkit. You can create different objects on your screens to create dashboards for end users, such as KPI dashboards as an example, where you can link it to a wide variety of different data sources and create very stunning visual dashboards for your company. The board also has executive briefing books, so it's an interactive flip book that you can use. You can pull in different reports and charts, and you can flip the pages and even drill into the data. And on top of, say, financial data, a board can also store non-financial data or even text, comments, documents, or attachments, even images. So board can store all this data within the application to supplement your reporting and analytics needs. From a workflow perspective, as I mentioned, it is highly configurable. You can even create a very visual workflow with all the steps in the process. So you can understand which step people are at, who's in progress, who's submitted, who's been rejected. And also predictive analytics. Board has forecasting and predictive analytics functionality with a variety of statistical and data mining techniques and even clustering. From a strategic management perspective, board can be deployed for balanced scorecards and even strategy maps. So that being said, we'll take a look at the application. So this is a demo model of board. So it's really just some sample data, some sample models just to give you an idea of what people can do inside the application. Again, it's not reflective of every organization as far as the reporting or budget model we'll look at, but just to give you a flavor in terms of what can be done. So we'll start with reporting. So board can be used for producing and automating your financial statements, such as your income statement, balance sheet, cash flow. If you're a multi-currency organization or multi-company organization, board can even facilitate your financial consolidation process. So here's an example of an income statement. And if we look at this, we see we can have our standard say income statement that you can set up. You can set up all your different report lines, and then what happens is your chart of accounts get mapped into these report lines. So then when it's integrated with your accounting system, the GL accounts get pulled in, the trial balance gets pulled in, and then automatically updates your report. So this can be done on demand, or it could be scheduled, say, at month end. So here's an example where we have actuals on a monthly basis. The time frame you're reporting on can be completely configurable to you. So whether it's monthly, quarterly, annually, if you have fiscal year, all of this is possible within inside board. And here we have an example of budget data. So this budget data could be coming from where the actuals are coming from your accounting system. The budget data could be coming from writing your application. So we'll take a look at an example of a budget model later. Here we'll take a look at an example of another income statement just to see how you can set up different report formats. So here, different row formats. Here we're reporting quarterly, have comparative years. And here we even have the ability to drill into the data if you want to. So for example, if you have transactional data, board can drill into that, and you can actually see your transactional data if you're pulling that into the application. Next, we'll go and take a look at, after financial reporting, will be some dashboarding. So while board has a whole suite and capability of doing automating your management financial reports, board can also do very stunning visuals to be able to produce dashboards. So in this sample application, here we'll see board has a wide variety of different objects and visual functionality that you can apply to show your data to end users. So in this example here, we have a dashboard where we're looking at, say, market share, sales trends, market penetration. And this is just an example. And in this example, it shows how you could be pulling data from different data sources. So for example, we can be pulling data from our financial system. We could be pulling data potentially from our CRM system. We could be pulling data from an external data source. We can pull it all together, mesh it into a dashboard to show one cohesive picture. So in this example here, if someone logs into their dashboard, you can also set up security on the actual underlying data. So when someone logs in, they will only see data that pertains to them. So for example, say I am overseeing the North and Northeast division. When I log in, I would only see the data that pertains to me. You can also apply filters. So you can add different user filters onto the dashboard. So if you want to focus on specific data sets, you select them, and then everything in the dashboard gets updated. Or it also has drill down capabilities. So if I want to drill into this chart here where it's looking at actuals and budgets and variance, I could click on this chart and say I want to drill into the data to look at it by region. I click OK, and it'll give me a breakdown of the same data by region where we have actuals and budgets. I can sort it. I can continue to drill down. So if I want to look in the Southwest and see what channels we're selling to, here we have the list of the channels. Again, actuals and budgets. If we're budgeting at that level of detail, board can again pull it in, allow you to drill down on it. And of course, the actuals, we have that data. Apply further drill downs. So within that customer channel, I might want to see what customers we're selling to. And then again, we can continue to sort. And I might say, for this particular customer, which products are they buying? So again, I can click on product, and then we get the list of the products that we're selling to that customer. And maybe if you're even budgeting at that level, you could have the comparatives and variance analysis. So this just demonstrates the level of drill down that you can do inside the application to take one summarized dashboard and allow people to answer questions for themselves. So I'll show just another example of a dashboard, just to show you, again, a wide variety of different visual objects. So again here, gauges, more line charts, and again if someone logs in, it'll be filtered on them and they can see their specific data. You can apply different filters and everything in the dashboard gets updated. So again, these are just examples of visual objects and data sets. Of course, your organization might have different KPIs and different visual objects that they would like to use. So this is just sort of illustrating what's possible, just to give you kind of a flavor for what board can do. Board also has predictive analytics functionality. So if you have, say, a historical data sets you want to pull in and run models on top of that, board can allow you to do this. So here's an example. We're looking at a historical time series and a forecast horizon. You can split it out by different groupings. So example, here we have different product classes. Here's an example of applying multiple statistical models. So here if we're looking at smooth series, intermittent series, discontinued series, Holt Winters, identify outliers, all of this functionality is here. And you can apply and compare different data sets, use the historical time series, and run your forecast horizon. The next piece I'll get into after looking at reporting, dashboarding, and some predictive analytics, we'll take a look at sales planning, and then we'll go into some cost center planning. And again, these are just some demonstrations, some sample models. Again, your organization, your process could be very different, so this is just to give you a flavor of what's possible. So here in this particular sales budget cycle, we might have multiple steps. You could start at a high-level target, which then gets fed down to a granular level where people are refining the budget. So in this example, they're setting revenue targets, and then people might be refining that at, say, a product customer level. So you can design your model however you want to. So this is just sort of an illustration of what can be done. So in this example here, we'll start with the preliminary budget where, say, our sales directors are setting all the targets for the year. This can be dictated by a long-term financial plan. So in this example here, we might say I want to take all of my, here we have previous year actuals, and this is our upcoming budget. I might want to say, let's, as a starting point, set everything equal to last year plus 5%. Everything gets updated. I can continue to make updates here. I can go into particular cells and say instead of 358,000, it should be 400,000. Input, it's red right now. It's not going to save until I hit the green check mark to save. Now the data's been written to the database. Also, the ability to lock values. So if I want to lock down this 400,000 and I want to do a top-down adjustment, meaning I want to make everything change but this, I could say let's lock in 400,000. And you know what? Our target for the year is actually going to be, instead of 10.8 million, it's actually just going to be 10 million. hit enter, you'll see everything else got updated proportionally. So it took the 10 million minus 400,000 and allocated it proportionally to the other cells. You can hit save, and then that lock will come out. So you can input your data through the board client, which could be installed on your workstation. You can input data over the web, even now on your mobile device as well. So here as well is we can use the Microsoft Office integration, where we can export a budget template to Excel. So say I'm traveling and I'm on the plane and I want to continue to input my budget data offline. Board will allow you to do that. So here's an example where I just exported that budget template. So in this, you'll see that it has the same rows and columns. So I'm just going to expand this out for you. So you'll see here we have the actuals, we have the budgets. What I'm able to do here is I'm offline, I'm inputting my data, I could be on a plane, and I'm just going to update, say, the top few cells, just for illustration purposes. Now, say I'm on the plane, I save my data. Once I get connected to the internet, I can connect back to our to your server securely. Hit connect. I hit save. So now the data has been written to the board database. So the next time I log into the application and it refreshes, you'll see all those data values got updated. Those Excel templates are actually reusable. So say if I make some changes here, I'm going to make this 400,000 and I'll make this 30,000. I'm going to hit save. I can actually go back to that same Excel template and simply hit refresh, and those values get updated. So it maintains the two-way connection. So this is very powerful, as I mentioned, for offline data collection, but also even from a change management perspective. If you want to, instead of having people go into a new application right away, you can create some Excel templates for them where they can input the data and it will get written to the database. All right. So as I mentioned, this is a high-level target that could get fed into a detailed budget at the customer product level. So say I'm Cornell, I log in, and now I can input my budgets for, say, my division. I can then refine it at a detail level. So in here we have the monthly plan. I can come in, make some updates. So say instead of 10,000, there should be maybe 11,000. And this is going to be a little bit lower. It's going to be about 5,000. I hit enter. I save it. It gets written to the database. I can also do top-down adjustments here. So this is 100,000. Say I adjust this so it's actually 80,000. Again, as soon as I enter, it breaks it back proportionally, so it updates everything across the months and in the rows. Once I've completed my budget, I can go through an approval cycle. So say I'm a manager, I can see all the people that have been working on their budget, who's been approved, who's been rejected, who's still in progress. I can take someone's budget, I can approve it, so it locks it down, and now they can no longer make changes. And then I can even broadcast a report to them to notify them that the budget's been approved, and then they can have that final approved copy of the budget. All right, so the next example I'm going to go into is around cost center budgeting. And again, this is just a high-level example. So in this here, we'll take you through just a simple, basic expense budget. So say if I'm budgeting for my cost center, this is the most common type of template that I've seen with companies where they're budgeting by, say, GL account or natural account, and then within those accounts, the department head or the cost center manager can now input lines of detail against that GL account where they can say they have a new contract for services with Acmeco. And then I can input some values in here. So say I'm expecting it to be an even $1,200 per month. I hit save. You even have the ability to append documents. So if you want to search and add a document, you have that ability as well. You also have the ability to apply percentage increases. So if you want to take last year's value or last year's budgets and apply an increase, you can do that to pre-populate the budget to give you a starting point as well. That board can also do travel budgets. It can also do even personnel budgets. So whatever budget templates you require, board's entirely configurable and flexible, so you can set up different templates for different parts of the budget. So here's another example. If we're doing our personnel budget, I'm in my department. I can budget for all my people or positions. We have the salaries, whether there's different variables that you want to set up, such as percentage bonuses, maybe vacation days, sick time, start date, end date, maybe it's a contract worker or someone's retiring. And then we'll get the detailed budget for the department. Here we'll see all the wages and all of the related payroll-related expenses. That can get calculated automatically for the department manager. You also have the ability to do capital planning, and so part of this is planned purchases for the upcoming budget cycle. So in this we could have all of our asset categories. So as the department manager, I might say we're planning on buying some new equipment, such as packaging equipment. We put in the purchase price, the timing of when it's going to be purchased, and then it flows through and it calculates out the depreciation for me. So I don't have to actually know depreciation methods. I just have to know the costs of the item that I'm buying, when I'm buying it, and then the application will calculate out the depreciation for me. So this helps give a complete and accurate budget. Some other examples, you can set up debt financing or equity financing, budget templates, and many others. All of this flows through into your reporting. So here's an example of an income statement where we have the budgeted values, but also we can do reforecasts. So here actuals come in, and we have a reforecasted income statement. Same thing with the balance sheet. If you want to do budgeted balance sheet, you can do that as well. This is just an example where we have the budgets, and then even we can pull in actuals as well to do a reforecasted balance sheet. And cash flow. So here again, example of a budgeted cash flow statement, and you can do reforecasting as well on this. So you see we have the 2 months of actuals and the remaining months of budget. All right, the next piece I'm going to take a look at is project reporting. So if you have project data that you want to track and report on, you can do that with inside Board. So in this, let's take a look at our projects. So here I can collapse this. I can see all the different project types. I can expand it, and within that project type I have all the projects within that grouping. So you can have all sorts of different fields that you can set up. So the project name, the budget, the category it belongs to, maybe a vendor that you're using for the project, some comments, the likelihood that it's going to happen, and then here's the monthly budget. And you can apply filters as well. So we talk about likelihood of if we're planning for projects. You can filter on different areas. So if you want to say must happen, not sure, but likely will happen, or maybe just undefined at this time. Filter on different vendors, filter on the owner of the project. So we can also drill into the project to see the details of it. So here's the project breakdown, so the work plan, so the different steps of the project, when it's happening. Maybe you want to put in some budget values as well. And then we can even track the progress of this project. Here we have our progress to see, say, from a Gantt chart type perspective, how we can see we're progressing over time. Another really interesting use of Board here, in addition to project planning, you can even do project ROI. So for planning for projects, you can set up, say, a business case template for individuals to prepare their budgets or their planned projects. They can put in, say, items such as cost savings or income that the project will generate, related costs, implementation costs, and then even calculate the cash flow. You can set up even discount rates to come up with discounted cash flow, and we can even get, say, the net present value and the return on investment of that particular project. So this could be used as a business case template for someone to propose a particular project. And finally, the last piece I'm going to take you through now is the strategic management example. And in this is just an example of using balanced scorecards and strategy maps. So in here, this is an example of the balanced scorecard, which has the framework of the 4 perspectives of the balanced scorecard. So employee or learning and growth, the internal perspective, the customer perspective, and the financial perspective. So within each of these we have different strategic objectives. So for example, if we look at the learning and growth or the innovation perspective, or also known as the employee perspective, we can drill into one of our objectives. Say we have an objective around motivation. We can see the related metric that we have for that, and then we can even drill down and see how we're trending over time. So we can see, are we achieving that objective based on this metric, and we can see how it's trending. So you could be pulling this data from different sources. Financial data could be coming from your accounting system. Customer data could be coming from your CRM system. Internal data, operational data could be coming from operational systems. And say employee data could be coming from your HRIS system. Data that might not reside in systems, as you saw, you can also use Board to create templates to collect or capture data, so you can have people that can even be inputting this metric data directly into the platform. It doesn't have to come from a system. The next piece we'll look at is the strategy map, which is more of a visual cause and effect view of the balanced scorecard. So in this we'll see we have those same 4 perspectives, so innovation, internal process, customer, and financial perspective. And it breaks it down into a cause and effect relationship. So the general narrative of this is if our employees are happy and motivated, they have the right tools, they'll be able to complete our internal processes or what we do effectively and efficiently to keep our customers happy and coming back to ultimately help us achieve our financial goals of profitability and growth. And the narrative and how this laid out could change based on even industries, so not-for-profits have a different layout, for example. And of course, everyone could have their own objectives and metrics. So in this here, we can filter, it could be based on time period, for example. And in this, you'll see, because this is cause and effect, these are more leading indicators of whether we'll deliver on our outcome indicators. So maybe if employees are motivated, it could have a negative impact in the long term on the quality of our service, which then maybe customers will stop coming to us and ultimately affect our financial goals. So for this, we could create a strategic initiative to close that performance gap, and we can actually use Board to track this. So in this, I might create, based on employee satisfaction, I might create a new initiative, maybe implementing a bonus program. I can assign someone to this new initiative. And in this, again, description of it, who's assigned, and then we can track the status of it to see is it having a positive effect, no effect, or negative effect, to actually see if we're closing that performance gap on that strategic objective. All right, so that was Board at a very high level, and the intention here is just to give you a quick walkthrough of the application. If you do want a particular demo, a deep dive in an area, please feel free to contact us. We have a wide variety of different demo models for even different industries, so yeah, please feel free to reach out anytime. Now I'll be taking a quick look at if there's any questions. All right, there's a question here. Can Board connect to any accounting system? Virtually yes. So Board, for example, can connect to SAP, any of the Microsoft Dynamics systems, Oracle, other examples, JD Edwards, Epicor, whatever your accounting system is, even if it's an industry-specific one. Board really taps into the database, and so it's really accounting system agnostic. So it can connect to any of those, any accounting package, and pull in the data. Here's a good question. Can Board be used for HR reporting, so human resources reporting? Yes, it can. We have clients of ours that are actually using the application for HR analytics, so tracking all sorts of different employee-related metrics, data. It could be coming from their HRIS system, or it could be coming through data entry, or even spreadsheets can be feeding the application and producing reports for senior management or even department heads to keep track of particular analytics around their people. All right, well, it doesn't look like there's any more questions. So if you do want to reach out, please feel free to contact me. Here's my email and phone number. We'd gladly do a deep dive down on a particular area if you have any further questions. So yeah, thank you for your time. I hope the webinar was informative, and we look forward to talking to you soon. Take care. Bye.